Hey guys, Arleesha here and welcome to another video. Today we are going to be doing a sketchbook tour. I'm really excited. These are always just a great way to look back on some previous times and talk to you guys about my thoughts and what I've been up to. I'll leave links to all of the artists whose stickers I have on the cover of my sketchbook down in the description. If you'd like to check any of them out, they're all just super amazing people. So I started the sketchbook on October 15th of 2019 and finished it on December 7th, I think, so it took me just under 2 months to finish it. I was originally hoping to finish it in less time, but that's okay, it took a little longer than planned. I started out just doing a lot of stylized stuff. I wasn't really thinking about drawing from reference, I just kind of wanted to explore and do some things that I had kind of stopped doing and gotten out of the habit of doing, so I was drawing. This is one of my characters from a story that's been floating around in my head for a few years now, and I just wanted to practice drawing him a bunch. Some of them are better than others, and of course I used graphite, so it got really, really smudgy. This is another one of my characters. I guess I won't talk about the story too much now, but I love these boys, and hopefully someday I'll actually get to tell their story. We'll see. I've done bits and pieces of it here and there if you know where to look. This little thing was actually really inspired by one of my favorite artists who wrote this book, Fairies of the Fault Lines. I won't show too much of it here, but anyway. If you know Iris, she does really, really beautiful, amazing things, and I finally got myself a copy of this book, which I'm really happy about. It's very special. Also, I got an original sketch in the book, so anyway, that's really special to me, and this was kind of inspired by her. These are all of the boys. All the boys all together for the story that I would like to tell someday. We'll see. I was really focused on them for a while. But I was really focused on them for a while in the very beginning of the sketchbook, and I'd like to make a comic someday, which I've been saying for years and years and years, and I've just kind of been working on it in the background lately, which is fine with me, and is fine. I also was experimenting. This is actually brush and ink, and then gouache over here, just seeing how it felt to kind of lay out comic style things with different mediums. And I was really, really, really enjoying the brush pens here. This was when I first started getting back to my brush pens. And did I mention I was enjoying brush pens? I did so many. Lots of faces. I think some of these I took to make stickers for my patrons, for Patreon for the 1 month. I think it was October maybe? October or November, one of those 2 months I did lots of brush pen stickers. I was experimenting here with the Arleesha brush pens, which I thought I might come back to and enjoy a little bit more. And they are fun because they're water soluble, so you can lay things down and then reactivate the color with water, and that's my favorite way to use them. That was really fun. And this is Cole from Dragon Age. He's a good boy. More brush pen things. I love how easily you can get super interesting texture with the brush pen. It's always super rewarding. It's hard to control, but it's a lot of fun. I love to look back at thumbnail sketches in sketchbooks. So this one here, I was trying to plan a piece for a friend who I was going to be meeting up with, an artist on Instagram. His name's Canyon. He's amazing. Leave links to him down below. But this is a piece that I painted for him that turned out looking like this. And I really loved that piece, and it was very fun to paint. I was experimenting with stylizing and just thinking about how I wanted to draw face shapes if I was going to do a comic sort of project. And also during October, I actually inked 2 whole comic pages for the entire month of Inktober. And that was fun, and that was as far as I got. It was supposed to be a 10-page project, but that's okay. At least I did some. There was a little bit of ballpoint pen in here. And here's Solus from Dragon Age Inquisition. I obviously love Dragon Age. Have I mentioned that ever in the past years? Here I was just actually making some notes for my figure drawing Skillshare class. I was pretty rusty, so I did this one first and then did this one, and then did some more after this on separate paper, trying to get more into the flow of figure drawing so I could share notes with a student who had left a project. Anyway, I really like replying to projects on Skillshare classes. More brush things. Oh, this is interesting. This is when I switched to a felt tip brush pen. So instead of the Pentel pocket brush pen that has little bristles, this is a felt tip one, so it's a little bit more firm and the lines are a tiny bit more uniform. Here I was experimenting with these two colors in, I think this was the Shinhan Pass gouache, and then a little bit of white. I was just kind of playing around with the colors you can mix from these two colors. So all of this is from just these two colors, which is really interesting, which would of course later go on to inspire the 2-color challenge, which we have going on right now in series of videos. I mean, it's 2 colors now. It may expand to 3 eventually. We'll see. The next one of those should be up next week, I hope. Here I was thinking about a potential comic-y sort of idea, and it's kind of, obviously it's very vague and hard to see what I was thinking, but I was actually thinking about like a single-page comic project. And then this was actually an idea. I was hoping to turn this into a painting. I might still, at some point, turn this into a painting. We'll see. More ink stuff. Ink in sketchbooks is one of my favorite things because you just do it and you have to commit and then you move on. And if it's not perfect, you just try again. And you can't spend a bunch of time on one particular thing and keep erasing and trying to fix it. You just keep learning and you keep going, and that's really fun. Here's some pages you guys may recognize. This is from the gouache in my sketchbook video that we did not too long ago, and this was lots and lots and lots of fun. I like this one. I like it, and I'm happy that I get to look back on it. These are also from that video as well, mostly. Yes, yes. Here I was actually playing around with a specific watercolor set. This is Denise's Earth Friendly palette, Denise Soden, who is in liquid color here. We did a collab recently together, and I was playing around with the colors from her palette, her Da Vinci palette, and this is using Perylene Green from that palette. More messy stuff. This one, this pen actually belongs to my daughter. She uses it for writing and drawing and she likes it, and they're actually really fun to draw with, these pens. It's just a standard colored ballpoint pen, but it's really smooth and nice, and I enjoyed sketching with it. I think so much that I just kind of stole the pen and kept sketching with it and kept drawing with it. I was kind of inspired to try drawing some animals for a little while, so I did this page full of birds. I actually really like these birds. That was very enjoyable. Followed by multiple attempts at butterflies. And it started with some of the slightly more realistic ones, and only when I started simplifying the shapes into things like these did I actually start to like the butterfly shapes a little bit more. Then I tried to move on to a more complex animal. I think this was a lynx, and it didn't take long before I kind of gave up on that one. These were more concept sketches for future pieces. This one I actually scanned this sketch, made it larger, transferred it to watercolor paper, started sketching it, or started painting it, and then realized I was painting on the wrong side of the paper. So I gave up on that one pretty quickly. I like to get back to the idea again sometime, just to include more of the figure in my work instead of just portraits for some experimental things. I really like some of these, and that's a goal for this year. That's a goal for 2020. Whoa, is to just include more of the figure in my work. Not that I think that just portraits are bad, but it would be fun to explore some other things. More ideas. This one did turn into this painting right here. It's been, this is one of my favorite paintings that I did, and sometimes I feel like the thumbnail sketch is too specific, and I feel like I need to develop and make an idea more complex, but usually the pieces I'm happiest with are the ones where I just take a simple idea and make it into a painting and try not to overcomplicate the whole thing. Those are usually the ones that turn out best. Some of these I would like to make into paintings at some point. I like this idea a lot, and I like this idea a lot, and maybe one of these days I need to keep these sketchbooks around because I forget how many painting ideas I have in them. This is actually when Ahmed Alduri started his 50 heads challenge, and I thought I was going to do 5 heads a day, and wasn't putting too much pressure on myself, but I did do these 5, and this again is the Arteza. No, this isn't the Arteza brush pen. This is the Pentel Touch brush pens, which I think these are felt tip, but also water soluble. So I was playing around with those, and then just a couple more sketches. This one's actually my husband peeking over his computer. So there he sat, peeking, and I drew him. Here's a relatively familiar page as well. Here I was prepping for a couple other things. This was the Draw This Again challenge. This here I was prepping for that redraw, both of these, and you can find that video on the channel. And this one turned into a painting as well, this concept here, and that was for my watercolor portrait tips video, I believe, and that was this one. And all of these little dudes that I drew when I was not having a great day, but they were very fun to draw, and a few of you had asked if I could make them into a sticker sheet, and I did. So you can find the sticker sheet on my shop, which of course I will leave a link to. These are swatches from here up and over here. These are swatches of the Magello Mission Gold Pure Pigment set. I found a good price on eBay, so I picked that up kind of recently, and I've really been loving the paints. I can't wait to spend more time with them. They're very fun and very bright and vivid and saturated. More practice type things. I've been wanting to kind of include more animals in my work too, maybe? Who knows? Anyway, this is about as thoroughly committed as I got to that idea. This was really ridiculous, and these are just some silly things that my husband said while he was playing a Star Wars game. Yeah. More brush pen fun things, and I can always tell when I wasn't having the best time with art and drawing and things because the pages look more sparse, and I don't have the motivation or the desire to fill the pages with a lot of stuff, and I can always tell when my brain maybe wasn't in the best place or I wasn't feeling super motivated and the pages look a little bit more empty, which I'm fine with. I really like being able to look back on specific moments. And here is a little sketch I did for my collaboration with Denise, where I sketched a barn owl for her and sent her that, and she painted it, and she did a really beautiful job. I think I finished out this sketchbook with lots of ink and swatches, so you guys are gonna see that soon. This one turned into a piece. These two were both for the first 2-color video when we did orange and blue, and I painted both of these ideas, and this one, I ended up liking this idea better. This is something this is really vague, just this thing I've been really wanting to paint for a long time, and I need to just sit down and make it happen, hopefully soon. I have an idea for a project, and if it pans out, I will be painting this for painting because I want to paint a blah blah. Anyway, lots of other ideas. I was just thinking, if I could paint anything, what would I want to paint? Which you'd think is a question I would ask myself all the time, but I kind of am not always thinking of that. I get a little stuck sometimes, whether it's with references or trying to convey something specific, but so all of these have potential to be paintings, I think, or at least a lot of these ideas, like this one and these orange ones over here. And I think it would be really special, even if one of them turned into a painting, it would be special. More ideas. You can tell this one is similar to that one there, and they could be 2 different paintings very easily, so we'll see. You guys won't be looking at a couple of these sections here on this page just because they're secrets. They're secrets, which you may or may not discover in the future. We'll see. But they're secret. And this is part of our 2-color challenge. So you guys saw some of this over here when I was working with these 2 colors. That video, I was really happy with that, really proud of it. And these were my first couple experiments with the next palette I want to do, which is a purple and yellow combination. And there are so many different ways that it can go depending on the purple and the yellow. So we'll see. We'll get there. And I have to decide. This is really interesting. This is more of like a quinacridone violet, something a little bit closer to a magenta, a little bit more red, and that gives you a lot more natural skin tones, and as opposed to something closer to like a dioxazine violet, which really does give you more browns and less peachy colors. Really interesting. We'll talk more about it when we get to that video. Where did my light go? I also really like the brown and blue combination. So many variants here. These two kind of get a bit green because of the specific colors, but I'd really like to explore that one soon in the future also. And then this sketchbook finishes off with a bunch of scribbles and messes and more little butt dudes because I really enjoy drawing them for some reason. Lots and lots of scribbles. This was actually funny. I was trying to draw the same face here and here, and I just kept like really struggling with it, so it eventually just turned into this, and then I wrote end on his butt because it's the end and it's his end. Anyway, it wouldn't be the end of a sketchbook without a drawing from my daughter, and here she drew herself just in watercolor. She just sketched right with her watercolors. There's no pencil or anything. And she said she was putting on her sneakers because she's getting ready for gym class at school, which is, of course, incredibly adorable. I hope you guys have enjoyed this sketchbook full of sketches and sketchy things. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to hang out with me for a little bit. I hope this video has been enjoyable, maybe a little bit inspiring, and I will see you guys next week for another limited palette video. Have a fantastic week and weekend and time and everything. You guys are awesome. Bye bye.